Hello everyone, welcome to the video of today. This is Beyond the Truth. Today we are going to be talking about Bosnia, where Muslim is a nationality. People choose to be part of a community. They choose to be a part of a certain religion. And those two are often two different things. Like in Saudi, we have Saudi Muslims. In Malta, we have Maltese Christians. In Cambodia, we have Cambodian Buddhists. You get the idea. But there's a weird little country in the Balkans where the people that live in it are not Bosnians. There are Orthodox Serbs, Catholic Croats, and there are Muslims. Yeah, that is actually their nationality. For all intents and purposes, government and societal, they are Muslim. I guess that strikes you as weird, but Bosnia is a pretty weird country. To understand how that came about, we need to go back in history. Bosnia is a mountainous country, which means large armies throughout history have avoided it. It is just not economical for an empire to send a large force to occupy mountains. Mountains can be easily defended with a relatively small force, and more often than not, there is nothing to be plundered up in the mountains. So it is not profitable for an empire to lose manpower for nothing. There is no payout. And exactly that made Bosnia the hotbed of the Bogomil movement in the Middle Ages. The Bogomils were the precursors of the Cathars. They were a separatist Christian sect that denounced all church hierarchy. Simply put, they believed that they didn't need an intermediary to talk to God. They had no churches, and they sure didn't care about the Pope or the Exarch in Constantinople, which I imagine you can guess didn't go over too well. The Pope, a large region not paying for confessions, baptisms, and burials in churches, makes for a whole lot of missed income. The Bogomils had a good relationship with the local rulers, because like that the rulers had freedom. They were outside of the influence of the great religious centers. But the popes couldn't afford to let them alone. They were losing out on so much potential income for the papal coffers. There were several crusades conducted against Bosnia. The Pope had sent Hungarian and Austrian noblemen to do his bidding, but none of them had any actual success. But that had made life difficult. And at the same time, the Orthodox Serbs were pushing from the south and east. When the Ottoman came to the Balkans and started conquering territory, Bosnia as the country with the highest conversion to Islam. There are no official documents as to why, and not too much research has been done about that. But if you look at the situation in Bosnia at the time, the constant pressure from the Catholics and the Orthodox had put the people there in a tough spot. And here were the Ottomans, a strong emerging power that could be a benefactor and a protector. Converting to Islam would put them in a strong position. The Hungarians and the Austrians were fighting for their survival. I am sure you all know that the Ottomans made it all the way to the walls of Vienna. The Slavic population in Bosnia had embraced Islam en masse, because that meant a better life. And genetically and culturally, the people were the same as the ones that would go on to form a Croat Catholic identity, and as the same ones that would go on to become Serb Orthodox. In the new Ottoman reality, the Bosnian Muslims had become a first-class citizen. They could own land, take part in trade, and had freedom of movement. While the Christians in the Ottoman lands were feudal population, they were stuck in their villages, and they had no rights at all. No right to be traders, and no freedom of movement. They didn't even have any rights at all. Being a dependent feudal peasant is only a step away from being a slave. And that sort of thing can build resentment, even between people that come from a same place, from the same culture, from the same genes. But the wheels of history never stop moving. When the Ottoman Empire had, things had changed. After 500 years of being slaves to the Muslim Ottomans, the Serbs had taken control of everything and stripped all Muslims from their possessions. And not just Turks, the Bosnians suffered the same fate. What I am saying is that it wasn't a good thing to be a Muslim in Bosnia after the First World War. And as always, one reprisal and persecution leads to another. The harsh treatment that the Muslims had in the kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, and later the kingdom of Yugoslavia, led them to work with the Germans. In the Second World War, they had formed a larger SS division that worked closely with the Croat nationalists and NDH. Even the first Bosnian president and leader in the Balkan Wars of the 90s, Alija Izetbegović, had been a member of the infamous Handschar SS division. And all you guys wonder how such savage wars happened in the 90s in the middle of Europe. A whole lot of pent-up repression and anger on all sides. Even to this day, the Christians see the Muslims in Bosnia as invaders. Traitor Serbs, they view them as Turks or worse. But they are not invaders, they have always been there. They speak the same language as the Serbs and Croats, and for all intents and purposes, they share the same culture with them. And still, even today, the Serbs and the Croats refuse to see the Muslims as a part of their people, and the only way they could distinguish them was the religion. They didn't even have another nation. They are all the same people, same culture. The only thing that the others hate about them is Islam, and that is how the Muslim nation in Bosnia was created. Tell us what you guys think. Thank you for listening. Stay safe. Have a good day.